Hello, and welcome to your NARSA weekly update for the week commencing Monday, the 9th of February 2026. It's Gary here again. Thank you very much, as always, for taking the time to join me. And you know what? That couldn't have gone much better this past week there to get back in the saddle. A couple of really strong victories and really put ourselves in a position to do well in this. I know I keep saying it every week that it's a crucial week, but this is a really crucial week because we are playing the fourth place team and the first place team in the league, and with a real opportunity to create a wee bit of space between us and our folks, our challengers behind us, and also close the gap at the top. It's going to be very interesting. And the one thing I didn't get a chance to do last week was kind of do a bit of a roundup on the entire transfer window. I was actually saying to a few people yesterday that it was quite refreshing, wasn't it, that we did some business in the transfer window. We weren't buying promise or potential or anything like that. We've got 4 players in there, and at three permanent and 1 on loan with an option to buy at the end of the season, that instantly give us options, instantly improve us in certain positions, and are actually contributing right away. And it seems like I can't actually remember the last time that happened, to be dead honest. It's one of these things where the recruitment has just been kind of all over the place for such a long time that when you've got people in there that know what they're doing and know and understand what type and style of resources, players that they need to be able to help us for the second half of the season and beyond, and then they actually go and get them. That was brilliant, and it's been a really good start for all of them. And we now have Tochi Chukwani, we have 2 Romans, we have Andreas Skov-Olsen. I'm not sure why we still do the Skov-Olsen part, but I guess that's his name. And then we did get the deal done for Ryan Naderi, and he got off to a great start. Could have scored on Wednesday, should have scored probably on Wednesday, and then got a couple of goals, got off the mark, and he's just enthusiastic. He gives us something that we didn't have before. And when you've got the likes of an informed Chermiti back and you've got Miovski quietly going about scoring some goals there, and we've got some really good options in the striking positions again here. So really good overall, very enthusiastic. And to have 2 games and win the 2 games 13-1 doesn't really matter. I mean, the opposition, like not so long ago, we've had Rangers squads that just made the heavy weather of that. It was 12 months ago or maybe a bit more that Queen's Park put us out in the cup, and that was humiliating, probably the worst result in our history, certainly my living memory of watching Rangers as well. So the improvements, the attitude, the application, the ability to be able to keep going and do what we needed to do to win the games, to advance in the league and obviously make it into the next round of the cup is absolutely great. So that context, I am really enjoying that, because I was a wee bit. I wasn't like completely devastated after the Hibs game the previous weekend, but I was worried that we weren't creating as many chances. Obviously we've come from 2 difficult away games, one in Europe and one in the league, and hardly created anything, and then we start to recreate again. So don't know what happened for those games in terms of tactics and application of the tactics, but great to see that we're back in, and I'll get to that when I get to the games segment here. But one of the things I thought was quite interesting, I was going to do this in either the communications portion or the intro, and I just decided to do it right now, is it was interesting. We had Danny Rule coming out after the game on Wednesday, whenever the game was on Wednesday, and said he was very surprised and maybe a wee bit disappointed to hear the fans booing the team at half-time against Kilmarnock, based on everything that's happened since he's come in. I think he was mentioning the fact that 10 weeks ago, who would have thought we would have been in the position that we're in right now, and he was hoping for a wee bit more support, quite frankly, a wee bit more patience from the fans. The challenge is, I get both sides of it. I definitely get Danny Rule's side of it, where he's saying, I've done everything you've asked of me and more, and we've got in a brilliant position. It wasn't going exactly, but judge me at the end of the game, maybe not so much half-time, and certainly don't boo the team at half-time, especially when they're in a leading position already. But equally, from a Rangers fan perspective, we are a demanding bunch. Yes, we are. And we have so many battle scars from times gone by and teams gone by where we have made heavy weather of situations, or we've got ourselves a wee bit back into the title race. It's typically always been us getting back into it, not so much us leading the chase, apart from the 55 season. And we're nervous, and we don't want to be let down again. And that comes across sometimes as a wee bit, negative, obviously, with the booing and such. And I'm not a booer. I've already said that many times on the podcast. I'll never boo the Rangers team or anything like that. But you know what? There's context there. I mentioned the word context a wee bit earlier, and there's context here for this one as well that he could maybe be doing with getting a wee bit more. I didn't unappreciate or underappreciate what he said, or not appreciate what he said is probably a better way to say it. But there is context there that he could maybe have layered a wee bit of. I understand that previous squads might have, had some sort of history. That's not my history, and we really need the team back or something like that. But not a big deal. Not complaining at all about what he said. As I say, I can see both sides of it, but just interesting, and that's a thing. And here's another wee interesting thing. This past weekend, I was on my Peloton bike. I like to bike every second day. I run, and then I run one day and I bike the second day. And I was on the bike, and I got these two photos prior to me immigrating in 2024. Not 2024, 2004. 2024 would have mean I've only been here for 2 years. No, in 2004, and one of them is of the trophy room. But it's this kind of long landscape type photo. One's of the trophy room, and another one is, this thing detailing when we won our 50th league championship. And I was there. I remember us getting the wee flags, the golden flags and stuff to celebrate the 50th league title. And that was, I've been here for 21 years now, coming up for 21 and a half years, and we're now at 55. So in 21 and a half years, we've won 5 league championships. Now, some clubs would be thrilled by that, not Glasgow Rangers. And I don't know, I mean, obviously everybody knows this. If you're listening or watching this, you've been on the journey at the same time as I've been on the journey. We know what happened in 2012 and all the lead up to getting back into the leagues and back up through the leagues, I should say, and then, pinnacling at 55 and then, whatever happened after that. But that's an incredibly low number of league championships. That's 16 of the last 21 that we haven't won, and that's not good enough. That's nowhere near good enough. And yeah, I don't know why it just hit home, because I'd finished my bike class, and I was just having a wee look, and I was like, oh, check that out. And then I started to do the kind of mathematics of it, and man, it kind of hit home. So hopefully in the next few months we're saying 56, and then next year we'll be saying 57, and then 58, and getting ourselves back into that position again. Anyway, just some kind of food for thought. On to the game segment. So we had last Wednesday's 5-1 win. That kind of was a wee bit late coming, but it was a 5-1 win. Everyone would have taken a 5-1 win at the beginning of the game, and the beginning of the game actually started quite well for us because we got a penalty, they got a red card. Some folks were saying the red card was a wee bit harsh, but I think if it looks like a goal scoring opportunity, that's just the way it is. I know the player didn't mean it, didn't look like it, didn't even see Gassama coming in behind them, but that's just the way that it goes. And I think that's what made us think, Tav puts the penalty away brilliantly. And then you're like, right, okay, really, let's go for the throw. Let's just put this team down. And Kelly just kept going and gave us a bit of a game. So it was kind of frustrating first half for us. And I think it's one of these things. It's just, I've done it in my own football career, such as it is. And it's difficult playing against 10 men because they get a wee bit more resolve. And then you're kind of like, how do you work this out? And I think the key thing that Rangers worked out was that they were moving Kilmarnock around. Yeah, Kilmarnock had a couple of chances and stuff like that. But eventually the tiredness kicked in. And, for playing in that amount of time, which is essentially the full game, 90 minutes or so anyway, with only with one man of a disadvantage, that eventually took its toll. And you could see that by the two late goals or 2 or 3 late goals that we had. So it's one of these things. But the second half, I thought we were much stronger. I thought we were really good in the second half. Created a lot of chances and gave ourselves a really good chance to score a lot of goals. One thing that was a wee bit frustrating, especially during the game, I've said many times on this podcast and other podcasts that I do, that it's very, very difficult to be objective in the moment in any sort of circumstance. So when you're watching a game, you're desperate for the opportunity to claw back some points. Obviously, with Hearts having been beat the night before by the world famous mighty St Mirren from the nicest town in the history of towns in the entire planet, and it was one of these. I just the final ball that we were playing in, the amount of times that we hit the first man, they got in a really good position, and then just even with looking up, we were still, I don't know, it was kind of odd. But then we got great finishes from Majowski, Scovolson, Antman, and Moore, and then the last couple was 89 and 93 minutes, which is great. Great for the goal difference as well, because that's going to be really material for us. And for the longest time, as I said, after me complaining about not creating any chances, we created a lot of chances, we took a lot of chances. So that's great for us. And the only blight here, I'm going to just stop saying super. I think that's the best way, because Jack Butland, man, oh man, oh man, what I said to people, and like I'm not one of these guys that's overly critical or insulting of a Rangers player. If I don't like him, he doesn't get much airtime. If I do like him, then he's going to get a wee bit more favour from me and such. And Jack Butland has been a good goalie for us, but the mistakes and the regularity or the frequency of the mistakes that he's made for us during his time, I appreciate that the defence has never been that great in front of him or anything like that, but he still has to do the basics of his job, and he did not do that. Completely fluffed the pass back. Yes, we made a bit of a mess of the throw in, and then gifted in possession, and then the ball comes in. And no, we didn't gift them possession. We just kind of let ourselves get a wee bit perturbed by their presence, and then a ball comes back in and he fluffs it completely. Boy taps it in. I mean, it's just, that's not legendary status. I mean, Andy Gorham, you could count on one hand literally the amount of mistakes he made for Rangers, and Jack Butland, you could count on two hands and 2 feet probably the amount of mistakes that he's made. So just annoying. Plus, the clean sheet record kind of went away at that point as well, which was a wee bit too bad. Let's just say that. In terms of the positives, the win, 3 points, the 5-1 scoreline, getting a wee bit of goal difference, 5 different goal scorers as well, and the goals were good. Taft's penalty was good, and then the other 4 from open play were good as well. And getting those 2 late goals, I imagine that's going to be material. And it was one of those games for Mikey Moore. I thought he played really well the entire game, especially in the second half. And the negatives, it was kind of tense, and the first half was a wee bit tough to watch. But other than that, and Jack Butland's complete howler, it was a comfortable game. It really was. Looking back on the highlights, there was not a lot that we had to really truly worry about, other than what we caused for ourselves to worry about. In terms of the stats, 69% possession, the high numbers, 22 shots on goal with 10 on target, and we took 5 of those. So that's that's 50% return. That's really good, and that's where we should be kind of targeting. And versus they had 6 shots with 2 on target there. So it was kind of, as I said, more us getting used to playing against the 10 men, I think, was the cause of that. And then obviously the howler by Jack Butland as well. So yeah, one of those things. In terms of the ref watch, David Dickinson, I think he did okay. He did kind of what he was supposed to do. He gave the penalty, he gave the red card. I didn't get too annoyed at him. I don't really recall there being too much aggro in the game or anything like that. So he's going to get standard 7 out of 10. Second game was Sunday's 8-0 win at home to Queen's Park to, in some way, give us a wee bit of retribution for the disaster that we had last season around at the same time. So it was a brilliant first half. We just went on the front foot, and it wasn't like we took it seriously, and we just said, this is what we need to do to win the game. We're going to go and earn the right to win this game and keep this team completely out of it and do what needs to happen. And a lot of these guys are chasing stats, their own personal stats, as well as team stats and things like that. And everybody took it serious. It was another strong team that was out there, and you could tell Danny Rule was taking it seriously, and it was great. Obviously, from very early on, there was no danger there was going to be a repeat of last season, and we managed to do what we needed to do to get it all done, and what a first half James Tavernier had. I heard today actually that's his first ever career hat trick, which seems a bit odd based on the amount of goals. I think there's 150 goals, or 150 league goals, 150 goals that he's scored in his career now. And I just, for some reason, I'd have thought he'd have scored another hat trick, but maybe not. But, well, obviously not, because that's what I heard today, and unless that's not true. But what a first half. We're 5-0 up in the first half. He scored 3 of them, and he set up 2 as well. I mean, that's, you can't, if Carlsberg did halves first halves of games, then I think that Tav would have maybe agreed that was one of the halves for him. So great for him. Good to see him doing well. Good to see the team hungry to continue the goal scoring and really just do what we needed to do to get into the next round of the Scottish Cup. And of course, you'll know by now that we are playing that mob from the East End in the next round of the Scottish Cup. So we're going to be playing them 2 weeks in a row, 2 weekends in a row. It's still at the time of recording, we don't have any details about when it's going to be, but I think it's going to be March 7th or 8th, something like that. A later kick-off time would be kind of handy, and they could have a bit of a party as well. So that's going to be a very challenging week for us and them, and that could make or break. I mean, we could have an absolutely brilliant week, and really create more daylight between us and them, and then put them out the cup as well, and really turn the screws on them, or it can go the other way, and they get a bit of momentum and such from that. So it's going to be really, really interesting. That's the beauty of being a Rangers fan, isn't it? These big games coming up, we've earned the right. We've absolutely earned the right to be in the position that we're in right now, and you can start to look ahead. I'm certainly doing it anyway with confidence. I feel like we've got a really good chance of winning every single game that we play, especially domestically, and that's what Danny Rowe has done for us, and it's a great thing. So the positives, we're into the next round, and no injuries. You know what? Actually, fair play to Queen's Park. On the odd occasion, especially when you're getting so heavily beaten, that you might end up resorting to some dirty tactics, or just feeling like I'm going to just boot a millionaire here, or boot a Rangers player, or whatever it is they're thinking. And they just kept plugging away. They did what they could, and they never really put us, under any physical pressure in terms of potential injuries or anything like that. So good for them. Great to see Tav doing what he did. Great to see Chikwani's. Do you know what I liked about Chikwani? He's got the collar up, and a wee bit of swagger there, and I love it. I really do like that, especially if you can back it up. I mean, if you go out there with a collar up and you're a donkey, that doesn't really help. But when you go out there and you're actually playing well, contributing, and doing really well for the team, good for him. No negatives from an 8-0 game where we get through. In the cup, the stats said with 72% possession. I thought it felt like more than that. Maybe it was. 16 shots on target. Interestingly, more goals but less shots on target than we did against the 10 men of Kilmarnock. I don't know, 16 shots on target with 10 on goal, and we scored 80% of those. Now, if we could do that every week, wow, we would be on to something. Versus they had 2 shots with 0 on target. They did have the ball in the net fairly early on, but it might offside the guy was, and that's just a thing. In terms of the referees, a guy called Ross Hardy. Do you know what? If I was going to get nitpicky, I thought he booked Ant-Man for nothing. Ant-Man didn't really do that too much wrong for that. It wasn't even a pullback. It was just like, the way the players kind of claw at each other as they're trying to gain a wee bit of advantage. And the guy went down, and it didn't look like a booking the first time. And it went on replay. It looked even worse. It looked even less of a booking. And he booked him for that. So I was a bit disappointed in him. So he's going to get a 6.5 out of 10. And we march on in the cup. And if we're going to win it, we're going to have to beat them. Now we have the advantage of beating them on our home turf, and none of this Hampden voodoo stuff that they seem to have over the referees and such when we play them there. So level playing field, and we'll see, may the best team win, and you know who that is going to be. So let's just park that for now, and we'll talk about that in a few weeks' time. So as I mentioned earlier, away to Motherwell on Wednesday, the 11th of February, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time kickoff, 8 p.m. in the UK. Motherwell doing really well, and they're playing some really good football. And we drew with them the last time we were there, early in Russell Martin's tenure at the beginning of the season. Seems like a long time away. That was the first game of the season, wasn't it? And was it? I think it was. And they're doing well, but they're playing a lot of football, and we're doing well. We're playing a lot of football as well. So I think we go there with our chest puffed out, and we do what we need to do to get the 3 points and see what happens, because you've got, is it Hearts at home to Hibs tomorrow on Tuesday? So it would be good if Hibs took a couple of points off of Hearts there, and then that really sets things up for the big one on Sunday, where we're playing Hearts at home, and it's a good kickoff time for us here in North America. We've got an 11:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time kickoff. That's 4:30 p.m. in the UK. That's Sunday the 15th of February. So you can have a really nice night with your love on Valentine's Day the night before, and then go and enjoy a couple of libations at your local NARSA club. That's what certainly I will be doing. And I'll be serving a couple of pints down there. So if you're interested in coming down and having a pint, please do that. And the one key thing here is that Hearts have a much better record against the Old Firm than we do against them for the season. We have been beaten twice by them now. Yeah. And this is an opportunity for us to say, right, okay, because that was the last real stink bomb of a game for us, wasn't it? Back in, what was that, December, where we went to, it was only 2-1 at the end, but we were awful that day, just awful. And we're growing, and we've grown. We've went on an exceptional run since then. So a real good opportunity. Could you imagine at the end of this week if we are top of the league, either in our own right or via goal difference? Man, oh man, that would be wild. Dare to dream. A couple of tough games to get us to that point, but these are the games we're going to have to play and navigate and get the 3 points from to win this championship. And that's exactly what I want to do. And that's the business that we're in right now. And it seems to be going very, very well. So long may that continue. In terms of shout outs, I'd like to shout out this weekend. This weekend coming, of course, is NARCO. It's the North American Rangers Curry organisation. Andy Burnett and his merry crew are going to Myrtle Beach down in America. That's from the 12th to the 15th. And from Thursday through to Sunday, they're basically, if you go to the Old Bull and Bush pub, you're going to see some Rangers fans there, and they'll be able to steer you right about what's actually happening. A bunch of golf in there. There's going to be some lunch and drinks at Muriel's Inlet on the Friday. There's going to be the Rangers and Hearts game, of course. That's going to be, actually it's on the Sunday now. It was originally on the Saturday. And then the Saturday night is the curry, the Masala Indian Bistro that they're going to go to. So yeah, if you're needing any details of that, if you're in the area and you're looking to get the some camaraderie with some fun bears, then you can contact NARCO 2025 at Gmail. I'm going to start that again. You can contact NARCO 2025 at Outlook.com. Forget Gmail. Don't even think the fact that I said Gmail there. I should actually edit this part out, but I won't because I'm kind of lazy. NARCO 2025 at Outlook.com. Andy Burnett will get your email and he will give you what you need. Another shout out for Amanda and Jason Jr. Ross, who are running the London Marathon on behalf of the Royal British Legion. We'll leave the link in on the show notes for that. That's coming up here quick. I think it's April time, isn't it? Something like that. Now, on the convention update, a couple of cool things to tell you, including a VIP announcement. Yes, I'm very, very much looking forward to saying who it is and explaining a wee bit of the background of that particular player. I probably should have said that at the beginning of the pod as well. I'll make sure it's known on the show notes so that if people pay attention to that, they'll get to see. But I'm delighted to tell you it's 121 days. I think I actually made a mess of the days last week. I think I maybe said 129 or something like that. I think I got something wrong. But it's 121 days. Guaranteed it's 121 days and 17 weeks until we go to Nashville 2026. That's, of course, the 11th to the 14th of June. It's the World Cup opening weekend, and we have a lot of things going on. We did sell out of the first block of hotel rooms, and we have negotiated a new block of hotel rooms there. They're selling out quite quickly as well. So please don't wait, folks. If you are actually planning on coming, please get your hotel room reserved so that you don't miss out on that. And I imagine it's going to get a lot more busy as the weeks go on, especially if the results really go our way, which we're all hoping that they do. And we are working the itinerary. We should be in a position to share actually what the itinerary is in terms of what we've mixed up a wee bit and the things like that, just to give us a wee bit of variety and a wee bit of difference in terms of the actual schedule in and of itself. The tickets, of course, are out for sale as well. And the ticket sales are kind of trickling. And I think a lot of people are just waiting to the end. And that's kind of inconvenient from a planning perspective. We need to know how many people are coming along. So if you're planning to come along, please get your hotel booked. Please get your tickets booked and you will not be disappointed with what we have planned. So we do have, as just another reminder for you, we have Scott Nisbet is coming along to this, and cult hero, cult figure for us, brilliant storyteller, so enthusiastic about coming over to join us, and we're absolutely delighted that he is indeed. We have 9-in-a-row legend Davy Robertson coming along as well. He has the same level of enthusiasm for that. We have on the entertainment side, Stuart Hay is going to be doing a bunch of stuff to help us with our entertainment over the 4 days that we are there. And of course, we are being emceed once again by our very own best pal, David Edgar, who's going to do all the great things that he does. And our DJ for the weekend is going to be DJ Angry Bear, aka Colin Bowman, the president of the Orlando Rangers Supporters Club. And the Angry Bear is not a fun gimmick name or anything like that. That is literally what he is, and he makes no bones about it. And that's a great thing. And he does a great job of the DJing. He did a fantastic job in Kissimmee last year there. So on to the VIP announcement. To join our ex-players of Scott Nisbet and Davy Robertson, we have none other than, drum roll please, we have Mr. Mark Walters going to be joining us this year. And Mark is joining us on the sponsorship of the Orange County Rangers Supporters Club, who have been very, very kind and decided to sponsor him and coming over to the event. So, and that model is available to anyone, any club out there who are participating from either North America or back home. If you want to sponsor a player to come over, they will be treated just like a VIP when they're with us, and they'll do everything, and the guests get to enjoy more VIPs as well. But yeah, Alan and Brian and team, thank you very much to everyone at Orange County for agreeing to do that. And they have Mr. Mark Walters to come over here. Every time I think about Mark Walters, I think about that cross-in for Mark Hateley that started us, going to win the league against Aberdeen in the last game of the season. And I'm looking really forward to being in his company and asking him how he managed to do it, because every time I see it, it still doesn't look like he had any backlift whatsoever. None. And then he still managed to get the perfect ball over to Hateley, and it was just dynamite from that day onwards. One of my best days ever at Ibrox, I can tell you that for a fact. And it was brilliant. It was actually like Skov Olsen's goal against Kilmarnock the other night, wasn't it? There was hardly any backlift for his either, and he managed to generate so much power on it. But yeah, Mark joined at Rangers during the Souness revolution, of course, and he was at Rangers for 4 years, played 143 games, scored 52 goals, and won 3 leagues and a League Cup. And of course, four of those goals were against Celtic in the league, and I think he also scored in the League Cup against them as well. And that cross, that was absolutely fantastic. And one of the key things for him, and we'll definitely get a chance to talk about this, was the racist abuse that he put up with in Scotland, particularly in his first game at Shark Head. It wasn't called Shark Head at the time, but it is now. And with the bananas and the monkey chant, like just absolutely awful, disgusting behaviour. And it wasn't just there, but theirs was the most vocal. Of course, everybody just went, shuffle, just put that under the carpet, nothing to see here, because that's what happens with that mob for some bizarre reason. But he showed an absolutely monumental strength of character to get through that. And as I say, we'll get a chance to talk about that down in Nashville. And he was just a brilliant winger. He did his double shuffle, and everybody knew what he was going to do, and none of the defenders could really just get away from it. So it was absolutely fascinating. And he did get his one and only England cap during his final year with Rangers as well, and of course left us to go down and join Graham Souness at Liverpool when Souness had went down there. I think it was one of the first signings, maybe even the first signing. I might be corrected on that, I'm not sure, but one of the early signings that Souness made, and he went on to win, I think, the FA Cup and League Cup down there as well, which is kind of impressive for a guy whose name is, and this is true, Mark Everton Walters. Yep, and he goes to play for Liverpool and does well at a period of time when Liverpool were mostly competing for cups. Obviously, they won 2, and not so much a key player in terms of the championship races at that point. It'd be a bit different these days. So yes, really delighted, and Mark is absolutely thrilled to be joining us. So when Orange County could make this happen for us, it was absolutely dynamite for us to get an opportunity to have him there. You folks asked when we did the survey what you would like to see, and you said, can you mix up the guests a wee bit? We're looking for an opportunity to hear different stories from different players, and we're doing just that. Certainly Scott Nisbet and Mark Walters, having not attended NARSA before, and Davy Robertson having just, I think, the one solitary appearance in 2022 in Las Vegas, and he's very, very excited to come over again, a great storyteller as well. So there you go, Mark Walters. I'm absolutely thrilled to get the opportunity to meet him in person. He's been a delight to deal with during this planning process, and we'll get him on the podcast here at some point. We'll get all the guests on whether it's a wee 5-10 minute segment, and then I'll splice it in, or we'll get them on for the full pod. No one seems that keen on doing the full pod, I have to say. So I know how you feel, boys, but I have to, so that we'll get them on. I get to. I don't have to. I get to do this. Let's just get that correct. So that's the thing as well. And we launched the golf last week as well, and we've got the golf very, very easy to go. You just go to narsa.ca/tickets and you'll get an opportunity to book the golf. And the golf is Top Golf. So if you've never done that, it's basically you're in an area where you can congregate with all your group, your teammates, your pals, whatever it's going to be, and you're playing this simulated golf from basically from a platform. You're hitting the balls out and you're trying to hit various targets and things like that to get the most points and such like that. And you get guided by a professional. That's all part of the $100. $100 all in. That gets you your bus to and from the Top Golf from the Cambria Midtown Hotel. That gets you your Top Golf experience along with your clubs. It gets you finger food that will be served throughout the 3 hours that we're there, and access to free soft drinks for the entire time. And the bar will be open there if you decide to have an early morning libation. That's exactly what I'm planning to do. So I will cheers you when you get there. We did put the flyer out there last week. It is out for booking. The bookings are ready to go for you. And if you have any questions whatsoever about this, you can email narsagolf@gmail.com. That's narsagolf@gmail.com. I don't think I need to spell that out for you. And that will go to Gary Fleming, the NARSA VP, and he will give you all the information you need to be able to make a decision. But I'm hoping this opens things up a wee bit. I know there's a wee bit of disappointment from some of the true golfers out there that like to play the golf. But again, in the survey, folks were saying, it's kind of restricted to folks. What if I don't like playing golf and things? So with it being so close to the hotel for us, it's an opportunity to do something different, and hopefully some people will take advantage of that. It's going to be a real community camaraderie feel to that. So any questions, email Gary narsagolf@gmail.com and he will get back to you forthwith. On the communications, the Gers guide this week today is the Inside Ibrox Queen's Park edition. There is a post-game interview with Oliver Antman, who is actually starting to turn it on a wee bit as well, isn't he? He's playing well. See, when you get that clarity, see when you're fit, of course, and then you get that clarity and knowledge and understanding of what your role is in the team, and it's explained explicitly to you, and then you go out and you get an opportunity to actually execute. I mean, how easy is it? It's easy for me sitting here saying that, but he's progressing very well. Everyone is. It seems to be so that's great. That's out there as well. And then the Rangers women's team highlights from their absolute, what would you say, thumping of Hamilton. They beat Hamilton 11-0. Here was me thinking we were doing well by beating Queen's Park 8-0. The women's team go out and just usurp the guys' team once more, and they get to good winning ways there. Great for the goal difference as well. And I think it was something like 8-0 at half time or something. It was something wacky like that. And that's a great result because Glasgow City, it looks like Glasgow City were playing that mob and they drew. So Rangers are now 2 points closer to the top of the table. I think the top Glasgow City is at 5 points ahead now, and we are 2 points behind Hearts. Or 3 points behind Hearts? 2 points behind Hearts and 5 points behind Glasgow City. Yeah, I think that's it. So I did get a wee bit of grief last week from Angry Bear, our very own Colin Bowman, that I didn't really chronicle the Old Firm victory as well as I should have. Everyone's a critic. Thank you for listening, Colin, as always. It was a great game. I actually watched the highlights that were shown at half-time in the Kilmarnock game, and it looked like a brilliant game to be 3-1 down and then bring it back and then to win on penalties is absolutely dynamite. And obviously for that mob to have missed a penalty in extra time as well, just excellent stuff. So hopefully that suffices to acknowledge the fact that I didn't do as good a job as I could have last week. In terms of Tuesday, that will be the Motherwell press conference and the loan review and some other bits and bobs. I think it's an under-19 game. And then Wednesday, of course, is a Motherwell game. On Friday will be the press conference for the Hearts game on Sunday. Not a lot happening on Saturday. And then, of course, we have a Hearts game on Sunday. And the Rangers women's team are away to Partick Thistle and that is in the Scottish Gas Women's Scottish Cup quarter-final. So they're at the quarter-final stage already. That's going to be Petershill Park, I should say, and that's a kick-off of 4 p.m. UK time on that. Now, a very important thing from a social media perspective for NARSA for this week, we had to, I think I mentioned this previously, I hope I did, where we had to basically create a new NARSA account for Instagram, which is a real shame because that was our most active, our most followed channel that we had. And we just basically, from the vault of what could go wrong, did go wrong in terms of our transitioning, in terms of our management of the account, we just inadvertently caused a situation where we couldn't recover the account. Meta is very, very notoriously very, very difficult for trying to get any information back from them in terms of support for accounts, because I think they're just like, just create another one and do that. That was not our preference to do that. We exhausted absolutely every avenue, folks, to try and get the original one, which was official NARSA, reinstated, and we just couldn't do it. So instead of farting around and spending any more time doing that, we now have a new NARSA account, and that is, if you go to Instagram, it is NARSA Comms, NARSACOMMS, NARSA Communications. NARSA Comms is the, what do you call it in Instagram land, the handle or the name or the reference or whatever it is, but NARSA Comms. So please search for that, and please do give us a follow. We're just starting to build that back up again, and Colin is going to be taking full control of that and doing what he needs to do to get us back to our heyday of the thousands of followers that we had on there. But NARSA Comms on Instagram for all the latest NARSA information for you. And just a reminder again, if you do follow this on YouTube, please do like and subscribe. It's certainly the subscribe part. You don't have to like it if you don't actually like it, but I would absolutely love it if you did. And that gives us an opportunity when we're doing our marketing, when we're doing our sponsorship work, that we have an opportunity to be able to show the numbers and demonstrate the reach that we have across the globe. And we are global, folks, so that's absolutely great. And everyone who's already done that, thank you very, very, very much. Just try and convince one of your pals to do it. We're not that annoying, I promise. We do one pod a week and you get notification of that, and then we move on with the week, and you don't get notification after notification or anything like that. Okay, my friends, that will do it for this week. Thank you very, very, very much, as always, for taking the time to tune in. Please do share it with someone that you think might enjoy it. And until next week, this is one of the genuine big weeks, and it's going to be a real marker for where we're at, and whether we do have some of the older traits and, if I could say, bad behaviour in us, where we just end up capitulating at the sign of trouble. It doesn't feel like it anymore, but you never know. The proof is in the pudding, and we've got 2 games to really go and demonstrate our genuine title credentials or not. I'm feeling very confident, and I would be lying if I didn't say that I didn't think we're going to end this week with 6 points in the bag by however means we need to exact to get those points, and we'll see what that looks like. 6 points would be absolutely incredible, Rangers. So why don't we get that and give ourselves an opportunity to absolutely really do what we need to do to get that. Yes, let's do that. Okay, until next week, please do take care of yourselves, folks, and all the very best. Okay, follow.